Development. Glad to just have a discussion with you this evening.
Well, you're most welcome, Honorable, once again. You're well known for her known as a public health specialist and her good work when it comes to disease surveillance, outbreak response, and good research when it comes to disease control and a whole lot more. And also not forgetting an epidemiologist. She'll be letting us know how office feels like now that she's into another ministry. But she says it's all about science. When you look at her, it's all science and innovation. Well, next to the Honorable Minister there, I'm having the Permanent Secretary. P.S., you're most welcome to the program. I'm having Pauline Batere. She's with us here. Great women, very inspirational, very instrumental. I'm happy to be hosting you tonight. Good evening.
Good evening, our dear viewers. This evening we are delighted to be here as the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. Thank you.
Well, that's the engineer for you when it comes to the paperwork, the questions that we're having, the power outages. Engineer Pauline is right there for us tonight. Well, if you've just joined us, our theme for tonight's discussion is Powering Uganda's Middle Income Dream. Is our electricity sector ready for industrialization? My name is Sandrah once again, and I'm sitting in for Jethro. Patriotic as we are, we get to the national anthem.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all at our country's call, in peace and friendship we'll live. Oh, Uganda, the land that feeds us, thy sun and fast our soul grow. For our own dear land, we'll always stand. The pile of Africa's crown.
Fellow countrymen and women, these are our ministers and permanent secretaries at the front bench, representing the various ministries and answering the questions that matter to us. Join the conversation. This is the front bench.
Good evening once again, coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. My name is Sandrah. You are watching the front bench. From wherever you're watching us, you're most welcome. It is a ladies' night. I'm having great women with us in studio, if you just joined us, and happy to be hosting them. I'm happy to be hosting the Honorable Minister. It's her first time into the new office that she's in, and we would wish to congratulate her. Topic of discussion is Uganda ready? As the demand for power continues to grow, is Uganda ready to fuel? Is Uganda ready to supply for the industries that are yet to come? Because our goal is to drive industrialization. That is our center focus tonight, yet to examine whether we are ready, whether the electricity sector is ready to power or fuel the middle income dream that we have as a nation. Well, I'll introduce to you the Honourable Member once again. Honourable Minister, you're most welcome, and congratulations upon your new office. When we look at you, we remember science, innovation, and all the great work. We commend you and salute you as a woman, and we are really proud and inspired by all that you do. Maybe just greeting the viewer to let them understand that you're totally comfortable. There's no difference. It's so typically science in the new office as a Minister for Energy and Mineral Development.
Yes, good evening, Ugandans, and this is my first appearance in a talk show as a Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, and I want to appreciate the appointing authority, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for giving me this opportunity to serve yet in another very, very significant position in the development of our nation. And to the Ugandans, I served you very, very well under science, technology, and innovation. I have moved to another science sector and expect more. We shall be working together. There is not too much change, except that there is focus now to take one sector deeper into the applied science in a manner which affects their day-to-day lives. So, looking forward to the discussion tonight.
Okay, thank you so much, Honourable. To Permanent Secretary, Engineer Pauline Batebe, you're most welcome once again. Putting on the shoes of an engineer, I love talking to women and getting to understand how does it feel to be an engineer before we get into a topic of discussion.
I think the engineering profession has been demystified with many women joining the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics areas of specialization. We are seeing more young ladies making change, causing transformation in the field of engineering. It's less burdensome than it was many years ago when we had fewer engineers in STEM.
Okay, getting straight into our conversation for the night, I'll get back to the Minister. How would you describe the current state of Uganda's electricity sector? Do you think we are ready for the walk towards industrialization?
Thank you very much, Sandra. The way the question is like something has to be ready instant. I want to approach the question this way. Uganda's energy sector has been on the move. We have been progressing, and it has made a lot of progress. When you think about when we had only one power generation plant at Naluvale, which was 60 megawatts, and now the generation capacity is above 2,000. When you look at the people who are connected, just a few years ago, just a very small component of the country was actually connected. Now we are above 60. People have access to electricity, and we are still able to power many. There has been just an upsurge of factories in the country. We are still able to power most of them. And so Uganda has made a significant progress in our capacity. The development and industrialization of the country is not happening suddenly. It has been a planned process, and planning for energy has been part of that process. So we are not standing in one place. We are ready to stay ahead. We will stay ahead of the national needs for electricity. Our capacity, our understanding, the generation, we still are really ahead. We have had a few issues with the transmission because of the need to over-expand the infrastructure to accommodate what we have now, the population we have, the factories we have, but the energy sector is ready to move ahead, because industrialization cannot occur anywhere where there is not enough energy. It cannot move. So we keep a step ahead, and we will be articulating some of the energy mixes that we have in plan, and Ugandans should not be worried that we will not be able to power the development. We will. Government, that's why we have a whole huge sector and all these women engineers and scientists, just to make sure we hit it.
Well, amazing. The way it just sounds, we're good to go. I'll just move to the Permanent Secretary, Engineer Pauline. For the facts, getting the facts right, Uganda currently has about 2.098 megawatts of installed capacity. Now, is this enough for industrialization as government puts it?
Today we are at 2,098 megawatts of installed generation capacity, and tying in to the Minister's remarks, we are planning judiciously for the growing demand. We have seen an increment in our demand from originally 8% growth per annum. Today we have hit almost at 20%. We might settle at about 14% growth per annum in our electricity demand. So that calls for astute planning, and that's what the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is doing. In alignment with our energy policy, we set a target as the government to grow our demand from the current about 2 gigawatts, that's the 2,098 megawatts, to 52,000 megawatts or 52 gigawatts by 2040. So that comes with a number of strategies in the short term where we want to unlock and diversify our energy mix from the current energy mix where we are relying largely on hydropower, a bit of solar, and cogeneration from sugarcane, bagasse, and a bit of thermal power as backup. So we want to diversify that, and in the short term, and in order to keep ahead of this demand, we want to deploy additional solar power. We are working with the Electricity Regulatory Authority that has licensed a number of companies that are already investing in solar power. In the pipeline today, Electricity Regulatory Authority has licensed about 300 megawatts of solar power combined with battery energy storage to support the short-term intervention. And in order to address the power needed for industries, what we call the baseload powering industries, we are also looking at the option of gas to power. We already have some gas in country. As we go into oil production, we will be producing some gas, converting it to power, a portion of it. So that will also contribute to this demand as we look at other options for bringing in gas, including engaging our neighbor Tanzania that has significant volumes of gas. So in the short term, we want to deploy within the shortest time more solar power, gas to power to address this growing demand. In the medium term, we want to deploy additional hydropower. We have lined up 3 power dams that come down further the cascade after Karuma hydropower plant, down into Noya district. So we have earmarked Kiba hydropower dam. This will go to about 510 megawatts. Another dam, Oriang, of about 392 megawatts, and a large dam, Ayago, of 840 megawatts. So in the medium term to long term, hydropower remains critical. And then in the long term, we want to diversify further. We are looking at nuclear power. We are already working on a nuclear power plant, the planning in Wiende district of about 8,400 megawatts as our initial phase, and we will expand to an additional capacity in Nakasongola. And of course, geothermal, we boast of significant geothermal potential to a tune of about 1,500 megawatts in the Albertine Graben areas of Pakwach Basin, Panyimur. And so all of this in the short term, medium term, and long term gives us confidence as Uganda that we will have sufficient supply of power to support our industrialization agenda, but also critically the ATMs, agro-processing, tourism, mining, including oil and gas, of course, science and technology. So that remains the strategy of government, and we continue to mobilize financing to that effect to ensure we are able to deploy these power plants within the required timelines.
Wow. Great work that the ministry is doing. Just I know it could be a question that the viewer is also yet to ask when it comes to the surplus. If Uganda has surplus generation capacity, why is it that in some areas people still complain or have the issues to do with the outages? The minister.
Thank you very much, Sandra. And that has been a question on many people's minds. Right about the time when I took office, people were saying, oh, have we gone back into load shedding? Have we, there is no power? No. I just want you to think about our, apart from the generation, which as for now, we still have some surplus, which we are connecting to people even as we work to generate more. But the infrastructure that we had for transmission and evacuation of power was been designed for a smaller population growth and lesser industrial construction. Kampala alone has grown so massively. And so the infrastructure that we had set up, including the transmission, especially the transmission infrastructure, this includes the substations, those places where people see and you see as if there are so many transformers in an area which we have restricted, and a lot of, they've been showing part on the screen. They became overloaded. The population has grown and we have kept adding. Some of the distribution infrastructure also, we are taking power somewhere just for a few households, but now they have grown. Moreover, people have added grinding mills and what. So eventually the infrastructure, apart from being, some of it was laid so many years ago, apart from it becoming overloaded and also aged, there was need for us to overhaul. In some parts of the country, we haven't yet reached there. We are still working. But in Kampala, we just concluded on the 8th of this month a major expansion of the transmission. And there were 2 weeks when people were getting a lot of power cuts because we need to switch off power for our engineers to work on the transmission network. We came and explained. I hope that so many people got to know, and by the 8th we had finished that work. It was just for a portion of Kampala, not everywhere. So in those areas which are now served by the revamped infrastructure which is expanded, you are not experiencing a lot of power cuts. There would still be some power cuts because there are many reasons for power cuts. Sometimes there's lightning, sometimes there are weather issues, and sometimes, unfortunately, there's vandalism. And sometimes we have people who sneak and do illegal connections, and then they overload, and to protect itself, the system goes off. But those are localized. They are not widespread. But what we promise now, particular areas of Kampala where we have been working, the businessmen, the industries, they are going to have better power. And so in some other parts of the country, we are also doing expansion. We are building new transmission lines. We are installing bigger transformers. This is going to take us some time because it is costly. It takes us time to mobilize money, but I want Uganda to know that as of now, we have sufficient electricity, and the sector and the whole of government is not going to allow us to fall behind. All these sources that the permanent secretary has explained, they are easily deployable and they are in line. So the fear should never be lack of power as of now. What interruptions that you experience are either because we are working on that line and our companies, the transmission and also generation, they are continuously updating and informing. We have now put a time limit. You must warn people ahead of time, especially if it's a large area. When you have a sudden cut and there hasn't been warning, we always inform that the power has gone off because of a fault somewhere, and we'll be able. So we have power. Yes, and something I just wanted to hint on, because of this shift in the national economy, going to transforming our economy from which has been largely primary production and sale of raw materials into processed value addition, the energy sector needs to transform itself. We need it to be more intentional, we need it to be more planful, and this is one of the things that we are undertaking seriously, making sure that there is coordination. Very few people realize that by the time power gets to you, it has gone through 3 major phases. Generation. Our generation company, the government generation company is Uganda Electricity Generation Company. Then there is transmission and there is distribution. So power can go off because of those different segments being affected. And but we are doing everything. We are planning, we are replanning to make sure that the energy is planned now to meet the demands of industrialization. The distribution networks, the transmission systems, and even the generation coordination, the coordination in these 3 segments is moving into that phase to make sure that the industrialization phase or the journey to the 500 billion is energized. It can't happen without energy.
Well, you had indicated that by 8th August, the Kampala Power Works would be done by that time. Does that mean that the Kampala residents will not experience more of the outages before we get to a short break?
Those served by the revamped or expanded infrastructure. Kampala is very big, and some parts of Kampala we have not yet reached there, but those which we have been naming, those areas, my peers will articulate them, those areas are going to have more stable power, more reliable, better quality, because you can have power but it is dim, more stable, it's not fluctuating that much. The only which we know will be minimal incidents are going to be due to localized defaults.
Okay. Well, we want to manage our time so well. In a few minutes we shall be taking a break, but those of you who are watching us from wherever you are, we appreciate you, and I will be having an opportunity to send in your questions, reactions, or appreciation, and I'll just take at least one. Someone is watching from Chikaya. They're saying, thank you for the good presentation. Kindly ask the minister why in their village Chikaya in Chivingi sub-county, Bukoma Simbi district, I think it will be for both. We have no electricity there yet. The poles only passed in Chisonjo only. How do we get power there as Ugandans who would want to benefit from the service? I think we can have that briefly. A reaction for the person watching.
Please explain that.
Okay, so thank you, our dear viewer from Chikaya, and you have emphasized that the lines are going only through Kisonjo and traversing other areas, and the people of Chikaya are not yet connected. It is important to highlight, and earlier articulated by the Honorable Minister, today we report our access levels, those who have access to electricity, at 62%, and we have about 38% coverage to make. And most likely our dear viewer from Chikaya belongs to that category of the 38% that we are planning for. We are happy to inform him that as government, under our rural electrification interventions and the last mile connectivity programs, we are working on a number of access programs that will cover a big bulk of the country. And right now we are implementing the Electricity Access Scale-Up project, supported by both government and the World Bank, to a tune of $638 million, where we'll be expanding the grid to some of these areas, and of course connecting many more Ugandans. So we are already implementing the connectivity part, where we are working with the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, UEDCL, for what we call the free connections policy, where for a no pole or a single pole, you're connected for free. All you have to pay for are the inspection fees for your facility. And once you apply at any UEDCL office or online, they have a platform. We are able to program you for that connection. And the good news is UEDCL, working with the ministry, have already started bringing in quite a number of meters to address our target of 300,000 connections per year under that program. So Chikaya, we've noted it, and I will go follow up on the specifics for Chikaya. Thank you.
Thank you for the response. I will settle for a short break. When we return, you can expect so much more. Just let the questions keep flowing in and your reactions. It is the front bench.
This is the front bench.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
The parent is Tuliahewa Dixon. And the child is Ani Tuliahewa Esther.
Kambera gwete kwa mchisha ngo ishe watu nyayewa Esther wahangura school fees ngene na hateja shana amashemero kwa gonka MTN momo eberewo mbeni nyegasta igana kaga ni 5 sta munana 0 hash kushashuro mwana school fees tokoma nyo mchisheri zagwisho wanje ninga nchaka kubasa kuzo wawe mwebare munonga.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, MEMD, warns the public that fraudsters using fake social media accounts to solicit money while falsely claiming they can secure licenses, appointments with the Honourable Minister, or influence ministry decisions. Please note, you do not pay to meet the Honourable Minister or any Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development officials. Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has not authorised anyone to collect money on its behalf. All Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development services are free of charge, except for statutory fees provided for by the law. Verify any communication by contacting info@energy.go.ug. Report any suspected fraud to the Ministry and the relevant law enforcement.
Jugo. Yo. What Chico? Check the shopping man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Jugo. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
This is the front bench.
Welcome once again. If you just joined us, you're most welcome aboard. Thank you so much for choosing National Broadcaster. We are live from Nile Avenue, bringing you this particular episode of The Front Bench. My name is Sandra. I'm having a great panel with us in studio. If you just joined us, I'm having Honorable Dr. Monica Musenero, and I'm having the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Energy, that is Engineer Pauline Batebe. Now, earlier on, we did have a bit of reactions or questions coming from the public, and we shall be responding to those as they come in, as they keep coming in. But right now, I want us to get back to our conversation that is to do with electricity, and this will draw attention to the Honourable Minister, what is happening at distribution. You talked about earlier on the transformation and what you're doing, dealing with the outages. The UEDC, I know complaints have been coming through. So what is happening at the distribution level following UEDCL's takeover of the distribution network?
Thank you very much. And I just want to repeat the statement I made earlier, that by the time electricity gets to your house or to your factory, it has gone through 3 phases. The first is generation. These are the people who do the dams, the power generation plants, the karumas and what. Then from there, transmission is the evacuation of the electricity from those dams and distributed on those high voltage lines to sit at mostly the substations and this high voltage transmission. Now, the power that gets to the consumer is distributed by the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. Now, as we all know that until 2022, this was done by Umeme. Until 2025, okay, 2022 we started talking about shifting from Umeme. Umeme was a private company which picked up the electricity from the transmission and distributed it. Government made a decision to end Umeme's concession because they were doing that work at a fee, and the government made a decision that a Uganda company, the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, should take over that work. Now, there was that transition which occurred, and that transition disrupted quite a bit of work because you see, electricity is not something we can say, okay, let's park here first, straighten, you know, you refine, because transition, UDCL was there as a company, as a government, but it was a very small unit. And now we had to grow it and expand it and capacitate it. Plus, there are many changes that occur in that ecosystem that many Ugandans were not aware. For example, Umeme was a private company. If they make a decision today that we are going to buy transformers or we are going to buy meters, within a week, everything is done and we order. Now, our procurement had to come into the government system and be harmonized in the government system. And that delayed. PS will tell us on average how long it takes us to procure things in the government. It's not the same as in a company where you make anyway, UBC, you know. You know how
I'm going to tell you that. Tell me about procurement.
Yes. And so we could not do the procurements quickly. We had to merge the two cultures. And so there were people who had applied for power. And this is the biggest frustration that I have had ever since I took over as minister. People who had applied for power and they needed to be connected. Now, also, Umeme, when they knew that they were leaving, they stopped, you know, for example, replacing transformers. And I mean, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here. So we had quite a lot of broken down infrastructure, which needed attention. And so we needed immediate procurement, but now reorganizing this company, getting its funding organized, and then beginning now to connect.
How about the manufacturers as well, who are also complaining that the electricity is still expensive? Can Uganda
the electricity tariff is not UMEME's, I mean, it's not UDCL's issue. And I will allow the PS to explain how we come to the tariff, how we come to that electricity.
The cost of power.
So this shift from UMEME to UDCL is partly responsible. We've been working really hard and made even some changes, but they are improving. I'm really, really glad to say that despite all those challenges, we now have 500,000 meters dedicated to connecting people who applied for power and they had not yet been connected. We have been able to get some transformers, and so because some of the people, they know their transformers got broken down, they reported, and they could not, but we had no transformers in the store. So some of the meters some are now ready, but some of them are still being tested by UNBS to make sure that they meet the standard. But UDCL has already started connecting people, beginning with the first come, first serve. But you know, we have a backlog of 2 years, about 2 years. So I want to request the Ugandans, please, we again apologize for this on behalf of this side of government, but be patient, we are coming. Even today, I got so many SMSs, WhatsApp messages, people complaining, applied for power, but I have not yet got it. I want to assure you again, if you applied for power, you paid for power, we are coming. Just be a bit patient. We are now able, we have the resources to connect you. I want to specifically mention that all the charges for connection that you paid are paid in the bank. Do not pay anybody for electricity or to say you are going to quicken your connection when you pay. There are so many conmen moving around the country in the names of UEDCL. Some have even faked their uniforms and they go. Actually, I went to my home and they had conned the people in my own home in the village that if you give us 200,000, give us, we will quicken the connection. Please, the only fees that you pay that money in the bank, or you pay it on the designated payment systems. Don't allow conmen to charge you additional money saying, oh, this boss needs this money or this. Those are purely conmen. Those are not our staff.
Okay, I'll just move to Engineer Pauline White here. When it comes to the manufacturers who are saying that electricity is still expensive, is Uganda ready to industrialize with the cost of power, with the complaints coming through? Maybe as you elaborate, you will also make the viewer understand about the universal electricity access. Is government concentrating on only industries or at the expense of the ordinary Ugandans?
Thank you, Sandra. Now, regarding the cost of power and the complaints coming from the manufacturers, without a doubt, the cost of power determines the competitiveness of industry. And as government, we've been very deliberate to walk a journey with the industrialists to support them in addressing and lowering the cost of power. Just within 1 year following the winding up of the UMEME concession, the benefit that arose from that ending of the concession went to benefit the industrialists. Were able to lower the cost of power to the current 5.5 US cents per kilowatt hour for industries, and they've been enjoying that. And as a result, we have seen an upsurge in demand on the industrialist side. I told you earlier that we saw a jump from about 8% per annum demand to about 20% per annum growth within a year. So that speaks to the unlocked demand arising from this lowered tariff that is benefiting the extra large industries. We continue to work on a number of interventions to continue this journey of lowering the tariff. As government, we are aware that the bulk portion of this tariff comes from how we invest in our generation plants. And that's why we are keen to continue looking for concessional financing, cheaper financing, sovereign funds, government funding, public funding, to be able to invest relatively lower and manage the cost of power. So we remain committed. We are working with the Electricity Regulatory Authority. They have introduced many schemes to support industrialists, including a rebate system where they support the industries to invest in certain interventions on the power side and are able to recoup their investment through the cost of the power, the sales or the power that they purchase. So we continue to work on that, and as we invest in our new generation of power dams, we are deliberate to ensure that the cost of financing is patient,
and the access,
and as we address the issues of access. On the access side, like I earlier indicated, as government, we are committed to achieve universal access. We are at 62%. We have a number of programs, the World Bank Electricity Access Scale-Up Project, where we will be investing and supporting 1 million connections, but also expanding. The national grid will be injecting a number of transformers, up to almost 1,000 transformers under this project within the next 2 to 3 years. But we are also unlocking additional funding. We are part of Mission 300. This is a movement where we are mobilizing funding from partners like Africa Development Bank, but also the World Bank, of course supported by the government of Uganda. And we will see further interventions to drive our current numbers from 2.3 million customers. We want to add an additional 6 million customers by 2030.
Well, amazing, amazing work. We commend you as a ministry. Well, time is fast spent. We have a few minutes left before we wind up the show. The way time is also flying. It's flying just like the way power will fly. Well, I will just get into the questions that have come in. For those of you who are watching from wherever you're watching the national broadcaster, someone is saying, hello Sandra, thanks for the show. The rate at which power runs is worrying. Is there something wrong with the UEDCL? Some people complain and say it's running like the way sugar flows in the house. And still another question is like, thanks for the show. The rate at which power, that's the same thing. Someone is watching from Mukono, that's her question. I'll just take in another one so that we can have the reactions from our panelists. There are quite many. I hope we manage them. Good evening, thanks for the program. I am Charles from Moria. My concern is we really need to use power, but UEDCL is not supplying meters in time because it takes more than 6 months to get them. Why? Someone is asking. There's another question. Thanks for the program. Someone is saying thanks for the program. To the PS, you're asking, we are struggling to get payments from the ministry as a result of court awards. I hope that makes sense to our topic of conversation in studio right now. Someone is watching, you're Peter from Tororo, and you're asking the minister for the presentation. You're appreciating the minister for the presentation, and you're asking her to enlighten the citizens on the payments. And you have another question. Since the ministry already knows that there are conmen in the market forging UEDCL's uniforms, which controls are they having in place to address this? That is your question from Tororo. Should we handle that? Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, our viewer from Tororo. The control we have is we do not allow any officer to collect money. You do not pay anybody. Anyone who is asking you for money, for mobile money, other than to the designated payment accounts, which are published. Anybody asking you for cash, that person is a conman. We have put bank payments, mobile money payments. Those are the payments on the. So we do not allow any officer of UEDCL to collect cash. So anybody who is asking you for money, saying, let me take and pay for you, you don't even need to go to a bank. You can pay right from your mobile money. So that's the measure that we have put in place. In fact, if somebody asks you for money, call the police. And that person is arrested, because those are conmen, and I've found they really can try to pretend, but the fight is the citizens don't pay any money to anybody in the field asking, even for the connection, unless you are paying for wiring in your house. But for every connection, you pay your money in the bank or with mobile money, and that is it. And nobody should give you another number other than the numbers which you have been given. The MTN payment system, the Airtel payment system that you know, the Momo payment, do not pay individuals money. I wanted to mention something quick that we did not talk about. Industries that have taken long without being connected. There are some factories that have not been connected. Now, the challenge is that many people plan the factories, but they have no idea about how much electricity they are going to need. Or they have no idea about the cost of the power to connect them from where the power is to where their factory is. And they do not work with us to determine whether that industry, where it is located, the power is going to be easy to get or not. And a few times we get to know about this factory when it is finished, and they are seeking for connection, only for us to realize that the power that they have been seeing or using for lighting, that power cannot run their machines. And bringing power to their factory is going to cost a few billions. And the ministry has not budgeted for that money. And so it takes us a long time for us to go, present this to the Ministry of Finance. Sometimes finance also doesn't have money. And so you'll find that they get frustrated. So my advice is, before you plan the location of your factory, come to the ministry. Come and let us come and do a survey and advise you. The nearest power to you, will it run? Sometimes it is easier to move the factory nearer to where the electricity is than to take the electricity to where you want. We have had incidences where people call us, they located a factory 30 kilometers away from the nearest power, and they need a high voltage line to go there, and it's going to cost 20 billion. They are not aware about this. So it's better when you're planning to locate your factory, come and talk to the officers, either in the ministry or at UDCL, so that we plan together.
Okay. You have any other reactions?
Yes, there were a few questions that came in from Mukono regarding the meters that are running. The units are running very fast, the light units. It's important that we highlight that UEDCL's meters have to go through testing by UNBS. So if at all we've had those that are registering this error, please report to the nearest UEDCL office, and you will be assisted to address this issue. So for this, work with the UEDCL local offices, and you will be supported on it. And on the access side, we want to augment the fact that we also have off-grid interventions. We are working still under all these projects we highlighted to ensure that we are also able to support on the solar side. Solar systems, we are working with the Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company, a government company, to ensure that we are supporting small businesses, but also households with solar interventions. So look out equally for those opportunities for subsidized solar systems as we work on extending the grid, because that takes a bit of time. But as we extend the grid, we encourage Ugandans to tap into the solar option as the grid expands. There was a specific question from somebody on Quota Words. We continue to clear these contingent liabilities as the financing becomes available. We'll continue working with our stakeholders to ensure that such liabilities that are seated with the ministry are cleared, working with the Ministry of Finance.
Okay. Well, I think we should take at least 2, then we'll wind up. Someone is asking how can the procedural steps in applying for consumption power for an institution, boarding school, centers having welding, carpentry and grinding machines in their particular areas because the line passing through is not connecting to the grid. That's the question that they're having. This one says they have suffered with no meters, but I'm sure you've clarified on that. I am Natkunda Maureen from Karusandara in Kasese district. Electric poles were fixed in our sub-county in 2019, but up to now power is not yet connected. What brings that? I'm sure the minister already addressed that in her earlier submission. Maybe finally, from this side, the question is to the minister, what's required for a missed village to get the power? Isabri Rogers from Buchai, Iganga district.
Well, thank you very much, our viewers, for the interest in the program and for the questions. The questions show that many people are watching the program, and I see there are 2 issues. One, how do we access power still? How do we access and the right mix of power? We have UEDCL offices in many parts of the country. We have regions, I think sub-regions now. There are peripheral offices. If you want to get power for that school, please locate the nearest UEDCL office. They will come and look at the equipment that you have and advise you on the power needs and also on how to apply for power, for that type of power. These offices are all over. I know that in most of the towns we have UEDCL offices that you can access. I think the PS can give some more precise information, whether they are sub-regional or sub-region, so that our clients are not so constrained in reaching the UEDCL. If the power you need is not strictly what we use, what we call domestic, this usual one for your lights, for your gadgets, for your equipment, if you're going to use the power for something else, it's important that they come and look at what you're going to use the power for, so that you get the right strength of electricity. Again, I want to add to the PS's explanation. Our client from Kasese, we are sorry that you have not yet, you have not received electricity, but we have not yet covered the whole of the country. That's how to summarize it. But we are planning to cover the entire country. So your particular area can be assessed to see. It is not that we choose who gets the power, or it's just the growth, the possible growth that we can, but we are coming. Our dream is that we hit 100% access by all our people, such that you can choose, you make a choice to be connected or not. The meters we have answered.
Yes, you did.
The meters we have already answered.
Well, time is against us, but we appreciate the viewers who have been following this particular episode of The Front Bench. Just in a few minutes, we shall let our guests give us a take-home message. We start with the PS. Engineer, please.
Yes, thank you, dear viewers. It's been a great evening sitting in your sitting rooms and following us. Just to quickly wrap up the Karusandara issue, that particular project is known to the Ministry of Energy, and we are taking all measures to remobilize and get the contractor to conclude it. It's an existing project that we are concluding. Overall, we commit, and as a Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, that we will continue supporting the industries, but also the people of Uganda, those running small businesses, cottage industries, and the large industries to access reliable and affordable power. That remains our target, and we are working towards it. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, message at heart that you would love to share with the Ugandans?
Yes, thank you very much, Sandra, and thank you, the viewers, for this my maiden talk show as Minister for Energy and Mineral Development. It has been a pleasure. I want to summarize our messages. Ugandans should not be worried that we are running out of power. If you are developing the industries, please bring and develop the industries. Our advice is the industries are better developed in an industrial park. It makes it easy for us to provide electricity. For our clients who have taken long, you paid, but you have not yet got electricity. It is not because we didn't want to serve you. There was some interruption, but I want to assure you that now UDCL has got the materials to connect, and they have started the connections. In terms of the stability of electricity, the interruptions mostly we see come from either we are working on the line to try and upgrade it, to try and stabilize it, or because there is a disruption due to, like, we have weather or we have vandalism also as a challenge, and illegal connections that will result in outages. But we encourage you to report any outage. UDCL publishes numbers. Many of them are toll-free, 0800, and they are published everywhere. I can't recall them off my head yet, but the numbers are toll-free. That means even if you don't have airtime, you can call on those numbers. Even there is WhatsApp. So report this. On the main lines, the big lines, we are able to automatically know if the outage has appeared somewhere. But most of the distributions to your villages, to your homes, please don't wait. If power goes off, immediately report. Our engineers work 24 hours to restore electricity whenever it is reported. If everybody in that region keeps quiet, we may not get to know in time. So please call. Please don't pay anybody cash for any electricity service. Those people will be taking your money. You're not supposed to pay it. I want to assure you that Uganda will keep ahead in terms of energy. We will keep ahead of the need for industrialization, because that's the higher consumption. Domestic consumption will continue to be prioritized too, but industrial consumption is the highest. It takes about 70% of our energy. Thank you very much. It has been fantastic talking to you, and we will continue the discussion online.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. You just, briefly, I will let the PS read out the toll-free lines.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the toll-free lines for UEDCL, reaching them quickly on 0800 203088 or 0800 285284. But critically, they have a social media account where you can report on X at UEDCL Limited, and they will be able to address your issues in a timely manner. And they have a mobile number, 0707 592 442, and we will leave the rest of the detail with UBC. Thank you so much.
Okay, and at the right place, the national broadcaster. It's been a great evening. Thank you so much for making time, Honorable Minister. It's been an amazing time having your company, and we've been delighted hosting you, the PS from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Well, that's all we had time for. We do apologize for the reactions and the questions that we didn't give a voice to, but I'm sure more time will be availed to you to clarify all that and much more. Now we can tell, earlier on we did begin with a question, is Uganda ready? Is the sector ready does the sector have the power to fuel the middle income dream that we have as a nation? So right now we leave the question to you. As far as our investors are concerned, or the investment itself, are we ready to move up with the pace as far as industrialization is concerned? That is what we leave for you, knowing that power or light is more than just switching on your lights. The reliable, affordable power, it goes beyond. It's about powering the businesses, powering the institutions, not forgetting the jobs as far as the national economy is concerned. That and much more, I'm sure we shall be getting more time as far as the national broadcaster is concerned to serve you. My name is Sandrah Kahunde. I had an amazing time sitting in for Jethro. Keep watching the national broadcaster. There's a lot coming your way. God bless you, and we love you.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future